He's the natural international. A month after making his Chelsea debut, he played for England. And he's been in the team pretty much ever since. Beckham, Owen, Rooney, Kane, none of them got to 15 caps quicker than Mason Mount. How would you sum up your England career so far?
Surreal, I'd say.
Intelligence, technique, versatility, end product. That's a few of the boxes he ticks. Other options are available. And outside the England camp, not everyone's agreed with Gareth Southgate's choice. There has been some resentment about your selection at times. Why?
Well, you're going to have to ask the people that said these things. That's something I've always wanted to prove people wrong as well. That's in my character. My granddad was a boxer when he was younger. I feel like I've always had that fight in me from a young age.
Let's go.
This is an against-the-odds success story.
Why is he doubting me?
To join the Chelsea Academy is one thing. So rarely do graduates make it to senior level. Mount's dad questioned the move.
I've never looked away from getting into the first team, even from a young age.
You never had a doubt you'd make it?
No, I wouldn't say I did. My family or people close to me sometimes did.
There has been this sense you've been fast-tracked. But before you played in the Premier League for Chelsea, you played 70 games in the Dutch League and the Championship.
Them 2 seasons were really, really important for me. The dark arts in the game that you learn about, they really helped me grow as a person and as a player.
So that smile that we see so often is deceptive?
Yeah, maybe. On the pitch, you have to be a different person. You have to fight, and it brings a different side out of you.
And the critics are declining now that Thomas Tuchel is picking him for Chelsea too. It's hard to find a fault, which is why it's looking harder and harder to leave him out.
I'm very headstrong. I know what I can do. I know where I want to go. Having that mentality takes you a long way.
And that won't change?
No.
How come he has managed to come through the Chelsea Academy when so many have struggled to do so to get in the first team?
A lot of factors. I think, first and foremost, when he talks about mentality, he always had that young age, willing to stay behind even at younger ages and take a bag of balls, whether he's taking free kicks or penalties or going in wide areas and crossing, getting mannequins and dribbling and shooting. And you don't see that at a young age. And then, the older he gets, he goes on loan at Vitesse and struggled at the start. And something, I remember speaking to a coach and they just said they spoke to him and something just switched in his head. And he said, I'm not doing enough on the training pitch. I'm not concentrating enough. I'm not taking care on the little details needed to be a top player. And then ever since then, he's come on leaps and bounds, got his opportunity at Derby, and then we know what happens then.
We are, yeah, exactly. We are where we are. And it's interesting, and he admitted it there, didn't he, Roy? Now that Thomas Tuchel believes him, I think even the non-believers have gone, hang on a second, Southgate likes him, Lampard likes him, Tuchel likes him, there's a player in there.
Well, that's pretty important. That your manager likes you. It doesn't matter what people outside the game think. Obviously we know there's a lot of idiots out there. But the guy, if you perform, ultimately I think the players pick the team, and he's performed well enough for every manager to say, listen, you're going to be in my starting lineup. Outstanding player. I'd like to hear what he said there when he said he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's not necessarily thinking I'm just an attacking player. He wants to be an all-round midfielder. I never hear anything negative about him off the pitch. He seems a brilliant young kid. He went out on loan, he's done it the hard way. Fantastic player, and again we look forward to watching him tonight. And
there's a nice mix there. He's got a great smile, and then he talks about the dark arts which he's just learnt along the way.
Yeah, I think he might have been talking about being on loan and learning certain stuff, but what I like about the way he's dealt with the comparisons with other players who were in the England squad at the time, and I think he brings different things. I think Gareth very much trusts him, just like Frank trusts him, like Tuchel trusts him now, in the fact that defensively he can trust him and offensively he can trust him. So, he's done everything right up to this point. You just hope that he can continue doing what he's doing, because at the moment his attitude and everything about him seems like he's heading in the right direction.
He's 22 actually. Here's the challenge for him now. This is his position for England and for Chelsea. If he plays this well and he concentrates, he's got however many years he wants in both teams, hasn't he?
Yeah, and like I mentioned, you have to have a strong mentality and belief in yourself to be a top player. If you don't have that mentality and willingness to want to get better, do the extras, you're going to struggle, and he's got that attribute. So hopefully, yeah, he could be a mainstay for England and Chelsea.
Mason Mount, one of them, became Chelsea's youngest goal scorer in a knockout match at 22 years and 87 days.
He's a very strong young player from our academy and a very important player for our squad in young age. And I can only repeat, he has the right mentality and the right attitude towards training and game, and he has the right attitude towards success. He has his both feet on the ground and open and hungry to learn. Mason is a very important player for us, a key player, and I'm happy that he fits in this role so at such a young age.
That's about as edgy as Mason gets. He doesn't do too many triple step overs and flicks over the back of his head in areas that he shouldn't do. He makes really efficient, clean, sharp passes. He presses as well as any midfield player that I've worked with or played alongside, and does a hundred things within his game that impress the managers that he works for. So I think it's very easy and casual because he hasn't got an Instagram reel of those kind of flicks, and it's different type of football. I think it's easy that people can bracket him off. I certainly don't. And when I say that, I don't want to add fuel to the fire of him being my son, because I've just been so positive about him. Because I know Mason has got a lot to improve on, and then that's what takes you on to his attitude and his desire to improve. He can score more goals, he can make more assists, but he's a quality football player who's only going to get better, and that's how I feel about him. But make no mistake, Mason Mount or any player in this squad will not be getting any form of favouritism from me about playing the position when there is competition in this squad. We need to have a driven competition amongst everybody in the squad, and midfield areas I've got options, in wide areas now we have options where we had injuries earlier in the season, so it's competitive for everybody, and nobody gets the edge from me other than on how they train and how they perform.
I love Mason. It's a bit annoying actually because he probably gets a little bit of stick at times from it, but I've always been close with Mace. I think he's an absolutely terrific player, and I don't really think we're even fighting for the same spot, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, I think if anything, Mason's underrated, and he deserves all the credit he gets, and I think people that know about football will understand just how good he is.
I was saying this in the autumn, I suppose now Thomas Tuchel picks him, probably everybody will agree. So when it was Frank, it didn't count for some reason. But no, he's an exceptional player. He finds space intelligently. He manipulates the ball very well. He creates chances. He can score goals. I thought his performance was excellent tonight. But